In question 25, we're told that red-green colourblindness is caused by a recessive allele. And we're told that this gene is carried on the X chromosome. And by X chromosome, we're referring to one of the sex chromosomes, of which every human being receives two, one from each parent, which determines which sex you are. If you have XX, you're female. If you have XY, you're male. And that's something we should know in order to answer the question. We're then told that a man is red-green colourblind. So we have a man who is XY in terms of his sex chromosomes. He's colourblind, and we have to work out which of his relatives must carry the recessive allele. So in order to answer this question, I've drawn this genetic diagram with this red individual marking out the colourblind individual, and I'll talk through it. So we know that the man must have received one sex chromosome from each of his parents. And since he's XY, he must have received the X from one parent and the Y from one parent. So the Y must have come from the father, since there is no Y chromosome in the female, in his mother. So the Y came from the father, and therefore the X must have come from the mother. And we know that the X is colourblind, or rather it carries the recessive colourblind gene, because the individual is colourblind. So in the case of sex-linked conditions or X-linked conditions, these conditions are expressed even when there's only one recessive allele present, since there is no dominant allele on the other X chromosome, since there's only a Y chromosome. So there is an X chromosome which is affected, which carries the recessive allele, and that must have come from the mother. So we can say the Y chromosome could only have come from the father, and therefore the affected X chromosome, must have come from the mother. Okay, so now that we've worked out that the mother is one of the individuals who must carry a colourblindness recessive allele on their X chromosomes, who else? Well, I've drawn the next generation, where our affected individual is mating with another individual, a female who is XX, and they have two children, a son and a daughter. So we can talk through the son. If a man has a son, we know at this point that that son must have received the father's Y chromosome. So if you have an affected son, that won't be because of the father, that will be because of the mother, as in the case of this individual. Okay, so but if a father has a daughter, that daughter must receive the father's only X chromosome. Fathers only have one X chromosome since they're XY, and since daughters are XX, they need an X chromosome from each parent. So they'll get one of two, they'll have a choice of two from the female, from their mother. However, when it comes to the father, they have to pass on the only X chromosome that they have. So if a father has a recessive allele carrying X chromosome, then the daughter must have that chromosome as well. And so we can say our answer is that the mother and the daughter must carry the recessive allele if this particular man happens to have one, and therefore our answer is option D.